What is up, everybody, and welcome back to my playthrough of Sonic Superstars. So, last time I pretty much finished the hell that was Trip's story. So, today we're gonna do the last story. So, let's just go ahead and get this started. So this dragon just appears out of nowhere. Okay, let's see here. So hitting the blue ones damages it. You know, I guess now that we're doing this final boss, I guess it's a good time to just give my thoughts on the story, because I gotta be honest, I don't know what the fuck this game's story is about. Like, it's really all over the place. Like, I don't even know how we're fighting this dragon. This dragon really just appeared out of nowhere. So, I don't know what the fuck this game's story is about. Like, I know Fang is here and Dr. Eggman, but like, I don't know. And then everything with Trip, same thing. I really don't know what the fuck is going on. I might have to watch a lore video about this game, because I really don't know. So it looks like Sonic also has a dash attack here, like he typically does in other like Sonic games. But it's like Mania, where you lose rings every time you use a dash attack. So you're just gonna be very careful with when you're gonna use your dash attack, because it really will consume a lot of rings. And then looks like Knuckles is dropping rooms for us. That's good. Damn it. Now it looks like you want to be on the lookout for anytime you see Sonic's friends, because they drop a lot of rings. Yeah, it looks like the only way you can escape those black holes is through dashing. So, one of the few times where the dash really will be handy. Alright, there we go. Oh. Why did I skip that? Whatever. I want to assume all we got from there was just a transformation. Yeah, so the story for this game, I really don't know what's going on. It's kind of like all over the place, if I have to be honest. But you know what? That's fine. 2D Sonic games, you really play them for the gameplay, not so much the story. And I think as long as the game is good, you know what? The story just makes no sense. That's fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, all I got from this game is Eggman has teamed up with Fang and whatnot, and he has a new plan of taking over the world as he normally does, and so Sonic and his friends work to stop him. And then Trip is a golden dragon, I guess. And that's really all I got. I really don't know what else to say in terms of the game's story. There we go. Ouch. Where are my pals with some rings? I can use some more rings. Oh, speak of the devil. Tails, what took you so long? There we go. How many more hits? Ouch. Minutes. Dang it. All these rings right here. Damn it. Smart, he intercepted my path. He knew exactly where I was gonna go. How many more hits for real? Like, dude. Oh, looks like Sonic changed. What's going on here? Oh. You gotta dash these because it isn't gotta dash. Oh, Knuckles, you're coming in clutch with the rings. You gotta dodge this laser. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's the end right there? Is it? Please tell me it's the end. You never know. I mean, this game, you think you're done with the final boss, and it turns out you're not. And you see what I mean right there? Like, I don't understand what the hell happened. Like, what is that egg? Why did that dragon attack us? How did it get out in the first place? I'm telling you, this game's story is all over the place. But you know, since we're on the topic of this game's story, I think now's a good time to just give my thoughts on this game. So, Sonic Superstars. Let's see. I already talked about the story. Gameplay. It's, I gotta say, gameplay is pretty good. I mean, considering it's a 2D Sonic game, it feels like a classic 2D Sonic game, which is, it's impressive considering that after the Genesis era, basically every 2D Sonic game has never been able to fully recapture the feel of the Genesis era games one-to-one. The only one was Mania, but you know, that's the exception. But every other 2D Sonic game just hasn't been able to really recreate the one-to-one gameplay of Genesis. So this game does actually do a pretty good job with that. I mean, at least it isn't Forces or Sonic the Hedgehog 4, am I right? What else? The game looks really good. I like the graphics. You know, I really like the 2.5D look of this game, which I always thought was kind of odd that Sonic, when Sonic Mania came out, you know, they were still doing the pixelated look, and I just feel like Sonic was one of the last classic platformers still alive using the pixelated look, because I feel like every other game has pretty much moved on to doing 2.5 yeah, like 2.5D graphics. I mean, for example, Mario has been doing that since 2004 with the new Super Mario Brothers games. So the fact that Sonic hadn't really done that until now, I think is crazy. And yes, I know there's Sonic the Hedgehog 4, but we don't really talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 4 here. No, I like the way this game looks. Like the graphics look pretty good, and if they continue making more 2D Sonic games, I hope they stick with this look because it just looks really good. I like it. Now stages, you know, it's nice to see a Sonic game that doesn't reuse any old levels, because for the past few Sonic games it seems like that Sega just really loves to reuse Sonic levels. And yes, I know Green Hill is iconic and whatnot, but like at this point, like you can only see Green Hill so many times before you just get tired of seeing it. So I will commend them for making completely original stages. Cause yeah, I mean, even a game like Sonic the Hedgehog 4, it literally reuses levels, but it just gives them a different name. And Sonic Mania, well, that one just straight up reuses levels. But that game kind of gets a pass because it was meant to be a anniversary game. Now, the only thing the one issue I have with this game, or not the one issue I have with this game, the bosses. So I will admit, before I played this game, I had heard some discourse about this game. I tried my best to avoid it, but sometimes you can't. And I heard people say that the worst part about this game is the bosses, and now playing it myself, I can finally see why. I don't know, the first few bosses they're alright, you know, but it's the later bosses that just get frustrating. And it's not because like they're necessarily frustratingly hard, it's just they're frustratingly tedious because they drag on for too long. Because, you know, I get that old Sonic games, like bosses were kind of a little easy because you could just spam attacks or whatever, right? And like you can easily like finish some bosses in a matter of seconds. But still, like the way this game does it, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. I just don't like the whole, okay, you take on the boss, you have to go through a sequence of attacks, and then after like the sequence of attacks is over, like you attack. Well, I mean, it's fine. You know, a lot of games do go with that style when it comes to bosses. The issue with Sonic though is that the sequences take too long, and it'd be alright if maybe like, you know, if you were skilled enough, maybe you can create windows of attack for yourself, but you don't. You essentially have to wait out the attacks until like your chance of attack is opened. And if you miss, oh man, well, you're just going to sit there and get through it all. I mean, I had said like the Fang boss in Golden Capital, I didn't like that one because you're literally going through an corridor that's an auto scroller that drags on for too long. And I'm not the only one, because I watched a couple review videos before I played this part, just because I wanted to see what other people had to say now that I had essentially completed the game. And yeah, it turns out other people said that boss was just not that fun because of that reason. And yeah, it's just not fun, like just having to wait around. Now, and the other thing isn't, what makes it worse is not so much that you have to wait around, it's just the fact that if you die in the middle of the boss, you have to redo that whole thing, and it just really makes the boss outstay their welcome. I mean, with Fang, I remember I died a couple times there, and what should have lasted me maybe like a 5-minute boss ended up being like, I think, closer to like 20 minutes. So yeah, I mean, also there's like the final Eggman boss from the main story. Yeah, that boss just goes on for too long. I mean, I think that boss fight is like 5 to 6 minutes long. And because I kept dying at the very end, I had to keep replaying that 5 to 6 minute boss over and over again. And yeah, it gets tiring really quickly. Now what I don't really like is the second half of this game, which is the trip boss or the trip story. You know, I'm all for difficulty settings and whatnot, and I get it. Trip is supposed to be like the hard mode. What I don't like though is the fact that you're forced to play the hard mode if you want to complete like finish this game and get to the last story. Because Trip, you know, they've done this before. I mean, Knuckles in the other classic Sonic games was supposed to be the hard mode, right? But with Trip, oh man, I don't know. Sega really just, or Sonic Team really just went all out with the level design, because like the enemy placement and like the hazards just, and the platforming, like they really just increased the difficulty by like 10 times, and I just think that's crazy. Like, I get making it difficult, but Trip's story just gets like frustratingly painful towards the end, and it's really towards the end. I mean, final Frozen Base, I was just really mad. I was really getting annoyed at just how many times I was dying because of stupid bullshit. So yeah, not really a huge fan of that. And look, like I said with the last video, I'm 25. I have years of experience playing Sonic, so it was difficult for me, yes, but I was able to eventually overcome it. But I just think a game like this, if a kid wants to get to the very end, they're gonna have a hard time with this Trip story. And I had even seen some of the comments in the videos. People said like they just outright gave up, like with the Fang boss, because it was just that hard. So like, I feel like, yeah, if I would have played this as a little kid, this is a game I probably wouldn't have been able to beat in like years. Which, before this game, to me, I considered Sonic Unleashed to be the hardest game. Because, yeah, that game is pretty hard. It's challenging, especially if you're a new Sonic player. But, you know, the thing with Sonic Unleashed is, with time and skill, it'll eventually become an easier game, and you'll master it. This game, on the other hand, yeah, if you're including everything, including Trip's story, this game is easily the hardest. Like, I can't think of, you know, because of this playthrough, I got to play a lot of the, you know, I got to replay all the Sonic bosses, and I can say without a doubt, there is no boss that's harder than that Fang boss. That Fang boss is just, it's just something else. It's a beast. I just couldn't. Now, something to keep in mind though is this game is multiplayer friendly. In other words, like what I mean by that, it's like the new Super Mario Brothers games where you can play up to 4 players at once. And keeping that in mind, like I wonder if you play with like more people, if the game gets a little easier. For sure, I'd like to think your experience changes, but I wonder how that'll work though, because keep in mind, like I've played the new Super Mario Brothers games, and yeah, I've played the new Super Mario Brothers games, and when you play in 4 players, like things get chaotic. And this is keeping in mind that Mario games aren't as fast as Sonic games. So a game like Sonic, where like you're traveling at high speeds or whatnot. I wonder how that would work with 4 players, because wouldn't the slowest player get left behind? I don't know. I definitely would have to try it out. Probably one of these days I'll find some people who I can play with and try out and see this game. It's different, maybe even a little easier with more players. I mean, who knows? Maybe the boss fights could be easier. If they are, like if I can do the Fang boss fight with 4 players and it's like infinitely easier, then yeah, I can see why it's a little hard, but it kind of sucks because then I guess the only thing is like you punish the players that don't want to play with or can't play with other people. So, I don't know. I guess it just is what it is. Like I said, it's definitely something I'd like to try out and see what the game is like. Oh, the special stages too. So, I forgot. This game has special stages. I like these stages. They're not too hard. In fact, they're a little bit on the easy side, but that's fine with me. I don't really care. Special stages. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really the biggest fan of a lot of special stages in the Sonic franchise. The only ones I like are Sonic Mania and like Sonic Heroes, but yeah, like this one's not that bad. Like, yeah, I don't really mind. The chaos runs are pretty easy to get in this game, so to me, no big deal. So anyways, I feel like I should probably wrap this up soon. Oh, soundtrack. Soundtrack? It's alright. You know, I gotta be honest, the soundtrack for this game really doesn't really stand out to me all that much. There was a couple songs that I like that stand out, like the Egg Fortress themes, I like that one, and then there's also that Water Temple that basically has that Sonic CD sounding song, and I think Speed Jungle too, but honestly the rest, they're kind of whatever. So yeah, the soundtrack for this game, like, it's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. So, with this game, what I recommend it, do I like it? Do I think it's a good game? All in all, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good game. It does have some inherent flaws, yes, but the game, it's not like the game is bad. The game is pretty good. The bosses are kind of hit or miss or whatever, and yeah, Trip's story is just a pain to play. All in all, yeah, I think it's a pretty good Sonic game, and I think it's a step in the right direction. If Sega wants to keep making more 2D Sonic games, I hope they make them like this, and just fix the issues that this game has. Because, you know, apparently, I found out that this game was originally conceived. This game was only made because this game was originally conceived as a Sonic Mania sequel. But then, you know, I guess they decided against it, which makes sense because I know Sonic Mania was popular and everyone wanted more, but to be fair, Sonic Mania was really only created to be like an anniversary title that appealed to like older fans. So this game being essentially like a scrapped Sonic Mania sequel, I mean, I can see it. I'm pretty sure there might be some people who would prefer Sonic Mania, but I think it kind of just goes back to that naming convention thing that I said. Like, what makes Sonic Mania? What would make Sonic Mania 2 Sonic Mania 2? Because you could argue this is essentially Sonic Mania 2. I mean, because if you would say Sonic Mania is basically just like an anniversary title where like you have to play old levels and whatnot, like that's cool and all, but I think at the same time it might get a little annoying just replaying like all the levels, because at that point it's like, then why not just replay the old games, you know? So I don't know, but that's what I think. So yeah, I definitely would recommend this game, although if anything, I'd wait for a sale, because this game apparently is worth $60, which I didn't pay. I got this game on sale, and in fact I thought this game was $40, but no, it's 60, so knowing that, I can kind of see why they did the trip thing, because I guess if it would have only had the main story and the last story, yeah, this game definitely wouldn't have been worth $60. But I don't know, I think if you really want to make this game worth $60, don't do that. Don't force the hard mode on the players. Like, it's just no. You're just gonna get more players not wanting to play this game. And I just think it's a cheap way of like padding out. Yeah, I think it's a cheap way of just padding out the game's runtime, just for the sake of, we need to justify the $60 price point. So I'd say either just make the game and don't sell it at 60, which, I mean, you know, the thing with corporations is they want to make as much money as possible. So if they can sell it for as much as they can, yeah, they'll try. But I honestly think like a game like this should only be worth like maybe like $40 or $30. But if they really need to make it 60, maybe just find a better way of like increasing the runtime. Or you know what? They could still just include Trip's story, but I just think just don't make it a requirement to be able to play the final story, because I don't know. I didn't really like that. In fact, like, I like this game, like I said, and I will find myself replaying this game for sure. The only thing is, because I already beat it, I don't think I'm ever gonna touch Trip's story again. Like, unless, I don't know, unless like for some reason I have to, or maybe like I'm like, you know what, I'm so good at this game that now I want a challenge. But I doubt it. I think all I'm gonna do is just play the main story, and then, you know, yeah, play the main story, and then after that, like, just play the last story. Even then, if I want to play as Trip, you can literally play as Trip in the main story after you beat it, which I just think that's funny, but whatever. And really, what, like, the only difference in Trip's story is just like the final boss. Aside from the difficulty, it's just the final boss. But let me tell you, if I had to replay that Fang fight, it'll be too soon. I could live without ever having to play that fight again. That's how much I hate it. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna do. And I don't know, going back on the Trip story thing, like, you know, I get it. I get like adding the difficulty mode, because that's what Sonic and 3 Knuckles did in Sonic Mania. But see, at least those games, they at least had changes to Knuckles, you know? Mania, not so much. I mean, just what, like Mirage Saloon Act 1 is different for Knuckles compared to Sonic and Tails. Whereas, and then also like the boss for Lava Reef, those are really like the only main differences. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles, though, on the other hand, you played as Knuckles, and there was like pretty noticeable changes. Like the fact that I think you could straight up skip. You straight up skip like Carnival. What was it? Carnival Night. No, not. Is it called Carnival Night Zone? Yeah, Carnival Night Zone. You pretty much skip Act 2 of that level, and then same thing with like Lava Reef. You skip Act 2. Hidden Palace is essentially just a transitional stage, and what's the other one? Sky Sanctuary is just a boss fight, and then you don't even go to the Death Egg. So yeah, and then like there's like huge different branching pathways too, like completely different pathways that you go through as Knuckles due to his abilities and knowledge of the island and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, at least the Knuckles in those games, they were noticeable differences. In this game, really, what? With Trip, you play all the same levels, and you even have to replay, or you have to play the character-specific acts, which I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe as Trip I could skip those, but nope, you have to play them, and they're the third acts, which I found kind of stupid. So like you're playing the same game, the only difference being that, just the difficulty, and then the final boss. That's really the only difference. Seriously. Which, I don't know. I think it's kind of cheap, but whatever. I think if that's how you're gonna tackle it, yeah, just make Trip's story optional for the players who want a challenge. But I think, yeah, let's wrap this up. I don't want this video to get too long. So yeah, I'd recommend, if you like Sonic, I definitely recommend it. And yeah, it's a good game, although I definitely would not pay $60 for this game. If you can get it on sale, do that. You'd be doing yourself a favor. And yeah, just keep in mind too, if like get it on sale, if you have friends to play with, this could probably be a good game to play as with friends. And if you want to complete the game, just keep in mind your Trip stories really might give you a migraine. So with all that considered, yeah, that's my thoughts on this game. I do think it's a good game. It has its issues, but I'm kind of hoping if this could serve as a blueprint to like future 2D Sonic titles, and hopefully those games can improve upon the shortcomings of this game. But yeah, I mean, I do think this is a game I'll definitely come back to playing every now and then. But anyways, if you made it this far, I want to like thank you guys and tell you how much I appreciate it, because I know at this point like I've just kind of been droning on and giving my thoughts of the game and whatnot, which like you guys really could just clicked off like when I was done with the final boss, if all you really cared about was like seeing the gameplay. But yeah, if you guys really made it this far and you were actually interested or cared about what I had to say, I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and yeah, I mean, if what I say helps you guys make that decision of whether you should get this game or not, well, I'm glad it can help out too. Cause yeah, I just feel like, yeah, you know, you could always like go watch a review of the game or whatever and make your decision from there, but I feel like, you know, as a long-time Sonic fan who's played pretty much like almost all the Sonic games at this point, and you're watching me play, I figured, you know what, maybe I should give my thoughts on the game to the others who might be like considering playing this game or whatever. And you're getting, and then I guess you some expert opinion because I play a lot of Sonic. Maybe not like other reviewers who might just judge the game based on this game, like, because I know if you're a Sonic fan, you'll have a little more bias. But I think because I have a little more bias, if I say, yeah, I don't like this game and I love Sonic games, then yeah, I think that would tell you, yeah, just avoid that game at all costs. But if I really love the game, then yeah, you're gonna be like, oh well, he really loves Sonic, so if he says it's really good, then it has to be a really good game. So yeah, I mean, yeah, good game. Definitely wait for a sale though. And if you could play with friends, maybe it might make the experience a little more enjoyable. And yeah, just have fun with that trip story, guys. Like, but just know, once you complete it, you never have to play it again. Because even if I wanted to play as Trip, like, you can literally play as Trip in the main story too, which, like, after you finish it, so you don't need to play Trip's story just to play as Trip, which I find funny. Like, they add Trip in the final story, or in the main story, so it's like, after you beat Trip's story, really, like, aside from maybe just wanting a challenge and for some reason wanting to take on the Fang boss fight, you really have no reason to play it anymore. But anyways, with all that being said, that's Sonic Superstars, and with that, we only have one more game left, guys, in the marathon, the special Sonic 30th anniversary marathon that's been in the making for 5 years, to the point where like next year is the 35th anniversary. But yeah, we got the next game in the franchise, which is the latest title in the franchise as of right now, because well, we all know Crossroads is going to be coming out soon, so yeah, and I definitely want to finish this before Crossroads comes out, because I do want to play Crossroads, but I don't want it to be part of the marathon. I know it's just like an arbitrary thing at this point, but still, like, you know, it's just a personal thing. But yeah, next game is Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like, I think I've heard good things about that game, but as always, like, I try to avoid the discourse because I don't want to have preconceived notions when I play these games, you know? Like, I feel like if I would have heard that this game was, I don't know, I mean, like I said, I kind of knew about the bosses, but as I was playing the bosses, it wasn't until like I got halfway through the game where I realized, yeah, these bosses kind of, I can see why people don't like these bosses. But yeah, next title, the next and last Sonic game in the marathon will be Sonic X Shadow Generations. So stay tuned for that, and I'm definitely looking forward to that game. So I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thank you guys for watching.